I am only drafting second and third generation superstars for Universe Mode in WWE 2K20. Let's see what happens. Alright, so my first draft pick is going to be Andrade. He is actually a third generation superstar. His father is Brillante and his grandfather is El Moro. Alright, and our next two draft picks are brothers. These guys are also third generation superstars. Their father is, of course, Erwin R. Shyster, Mike Rotunda, and their grandfather is Blackjack Mulligan. So there are second and third draft picks. Our next draft pick is Bret the Hitman Hart, son of the legendary Stu Hart. Alright, and next we have someone you probably didn't know was a second generation superstar. We have Carmella. She is the daughter of a wrestler named Paul Van Dale. He was enhancement talent in the WWE back in the day. And of course, our next draft pick is Charlotte Flair, who is the daughter of the legendary Ric Flair, who's held many world titles. And next we have someone who's not really in the game, but I downloaded him as a created superstar, Cody Rhodes, who's of course the son of the legendary Dusty Rhodes. Alright, next we have Curtis Axel, who is the son of Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. And his grandfather was also a wrestler, Larry Hennig, so he's a third generation superstar. Alright, and next we have Dustin Rhodes, who is the brother of Cody Rhodes and the son of Dusty Rhodes. Alright, and next we have Eddie Guerrero, who is the son of Gory Guerrero. Alright, next we have Humberto Carrillo. Humberto Garza Jr. is his father and Humberto Garza Sr. is his grandfather. Alright, next we have the legend Jake Roberts, whose father was Grizzly Smith. And next, of course, we have Jay and Jimmy Uso, who are the sons of Rikishi and part of the Anoa'i family. Alright, next we have Natalya, who is the daughter of Jim Neidhart and, of course, the granddaughter of Stu Hart. And next we have Paige, who is the daughter of English wrestler Ricky Knight. And next, of course, we have Randy Orton, who's the son of Cowboy Bob Orton. And then, of course, we have The Rock, whose father is Rocky Johnson and whose grandfather is the legendary High Chief Peter Maivia. They are also part of the Anoa'i family, married into it. And next, of course, we have Roman Reigns, who is an Anoa'i. He is the son of Sika. And next we have Tamina, who is also related to the Anoa'i family through marriage, whose father is, of course, Jimmy Snuka. And finally, we have Ted DiBiase, who is the son of Iron Mike DiBiase from way back in the day. And that's going to do it. We have 21 participants. I'm going to have a world title, an intercontinental title, and a women's title, as well as a Money in the Bank. We're not going to do tag team championships because we only have one tag team, and if nobody can go for the tag titles, there's no point. So I'm only going to have people go for the world title if they've been world champions before. Everyone else is going for the Intercontinental Championship. We're going to do a year and we're only going to cover the pay-per-views. So let's get started. Alright, our first match is Tamina versus Charlotte Flair. Our second match is Natalya versus Carmella for the Women's Championship. Awesome. Our third match is Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. Hold on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that Bray Wyatt wins that match so Finn Balor can't get it. I'm going to simulate the rest of the matches, but I'm going to guarantee that Bray Wyatt wins that one. Okay, we're going to simulate Tamina versus Charlotte. It looks like Charlotte won that one. Alright, Natalya versus Carmella. We're going to simulate that and see what happens. And Carmella retains her title. Now we're going to do Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. I'm going to hit simulate, but then I'm going to select Bray Wyatt as the winner. And now we're going to simulate the Money in the Bank match. Who's going to challenge for the title? And Roman Reigns is the Money in the Bank winner, so he can challenge for the title anytime he wants. And let's see who wins the last 8-man ladder match. And it looks like Jake Roberts won, but he didn't win anything but the match. Alright, moving on to the next pay-per-view, we got Extreme Rules. Let's see who's in it. We got Ted DiBiase taking on Jake Roberts, Natalya taking on Paige, Jey Uso taking on Curtis Axel with Bo Dallas in his corner. We got Randy Orton taking on Humberto Carrillo, Cody Rhodes taking on Dustin Rhodes. Ooh, that might be a rivalry brewing. We got Charlotte Flair challenging for the Women's Championship. We got Jimmy Uso challenging Andrade for the Intercontinental title. We got Roman Reigns taking on The Rock in a rivalry match, family business. And Finn Balor challenging Bray Wyatt for the title again. You know what? Maybe I will break my rule one time and I'm going to announce the cash-in. Just so I can push Finn Balor out of there and have Roman Reigns challenge Bray Wyatt for the title. Now, this might change the makeup of the entire show. Let's see what we have now. Ted DiBiase versus Jake Roberts still. Okay. Now we have Bo Dallas taking on Humberto Carrillo. Natalya versus Paige still. Charlotte still taking on Carmella, but now R-Truth is in her corner. Jimmy Uso still taking on Andrade, but now we have Roman Reigns taking on Bray Wyatt. Wait a minute. It looks like it's going to be 2 matches. That really makes no sense. So this is the Money in the Bank cash-in, and this is the new main event. So that is kind of crazy. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to simulate each match one by one, and let's see what happens. Alright, Ted DiBiase versus Jake Roberts. Ted DiBiase takes it. Jey Uso versus Curtis Axel. Jey Uso wins. Bo Dallas versus Humberto Carrillo. Humberto Carrillo takes the win. Cody versus Dustin. Cody Rhodes wins that one. Natalya versus Paige. Paige took it. Alright, now we got the Women's Championship match. Charlotte versus Carmella. And Carmella retains, probably with the help from R-Truth. Alright, we've got Jimmy Uso versus Andrade. Is Jimmy going to take the title? He doesn't. Andrade retains. Now, is Roman Reigns going to beat Bray Wyatt in the first match? Let's find out. And Bray Wyatt retains his title. Now, in the Money in the Bank cash-in match, can Roman Reigns defeat Bray Wyatt? He cannot. Bray Wyatt won both matches. Roman Reigns just can't catch a break. Moving on, we got SummerSlam. First match is Ted DiBiase versus Bret the Hitman Hart. Next, we got Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas versus Jey and Jimmy Uso. I guess Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas might be a tag team, but we don't need tag team titles going just between 2 teams. We need more teams than that. Next, we got Tamina versus Paige with Nia Jax in the corner. I don't have Nia Jax drafted. Well, I guess if they have managers, they go ahead and go along with them. Next, we have Jake Roberts challenging Andrade for the Intercontinental title. Cody and Dustin fighting each other. Randy Orton in a rivalry with Humberto Carrillo. Roman Reigns challenging Bray Wyatt for the championship again. Eddie Guerrero taking on The Rock. I would pay to see that match if it could exist. And we got a triple threat match. Carmella putting her title on the line against Charlotte and Natalya. So let's see what happens. Bret beat Ted DiBiase. Curtis and Bo beat Jey and Jimmy Uso. Paige beat Tamina. Andrade retains his Intercontinental title. Dustin Rhodes wins this time. Randy Orton beats Humberto. Roman Reigns still can't win that title. Eddie Guerrero beat The Rock. And Carmella retains her title. Alright, moving on, we got Hell in a Cell. So far, everyone's retained their championship. So let's see what happens. We got Jake Roberts versus Andrade. Bray Wyatt taking on Cody Rhodes. So Cody Rhodes is challenging for the World Championship. That's interesting. We got Natalya taking on Tamina. Ted DiBiase taking on Humberto. Jimmy taking on Curtis. Dustin Rhodes taking on Eddie Guerrero. Randy Orton taking on The Rock. That would be a good one. Roman Reigns taking on Bret Hart. That would also be a good one. And we got Charlotte challenging Carmella for the title again. Let's see if anyone can win a title this time. Jake Roberts could not take it from Andrade. Bray Wyatt still retains his world title. Tamina beat Natalya. Ted DiBiase beat Humberto. Jimmy beat Curtis. Dustin beat Eddie. Randy beat The Rock. Roman Reigns beat Bret Hart. And Charlotte Flair still couldn't beat Carmella. So titles still haven't changed hands yet. Alright, next we're on the Super Showdown. We're starting things off with the World Heavyweight title match. Cody Rhodes taking on Bray Wyatt. Jimmy Uso taking on Curtis Axel. Tamina challenging Carmella for the Women's Championship. That's different. We got Bo Dallas challenging Humberto Carrillo. Eddie Guerrero taking on Dustin Rhodes. Natalya taking on Charlotte. Ted DiBiase taking on Jake Roberts. We got Jey Uso challenging for the Intercontinental title. The Rock is going to take on Bret Hart. And Randy Orton is going to take on Roman Reigns. So let's see how it goes. And Cody Rhodes has won the World Heavyweight Championship. That is our very first title change. Let's see how the rest of it goes. Jimmy Uso beat Curtis Axel. And Tamina won the Women's Championship. So 2 titles have changed hands so far. Bo Dallas beat Humberto. Eddie Guerrero beat Dustin Rhodes. Charlotte Flair beat Natalya. Jake Roberts beat Ted DiBiase, and Jey Uso is the new Intercontinental Champion. So, we had 3 titles change hands on one show. That is awesome. Bret Hart beat The Rock, and Roman Reigns beat Randy Orton. Alright, now for Survivor Series. We got Charlotte Flair challenging Tamina for the women's title, Natalya taking on Paige, Curtis Axel taking on Bo Dallas. Wait, they were supposed to be partners. Andrade taking on Dustin Rhodes. Bray Wyatt taking on Cody Rhodes in a non-title match. Jimmy Uso taking on Jey Uso for the Intercontinental title. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. In the Survivor Series match, Team Eddie versus Team Rock. So let's see what happens. Alright, and Charlotte Flair has won the Women's Championship. That is awesome. Natalya beat Paige. Bo Dallas beat Curtis Axel. Andrade beat Dustin Rhodes. Cody Rhodes beat Bray Wyatt. And Jimmy Uso beat Jey Uso for the Intercontinental title. That is cool. And it looks like Team Rock beat Team Eddie. Alright, next we got Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. TLC. We got Randy Orton taking on Andrade. Carmella taking on Tamina. Jake Roberts taking on Humberto. Ted DiBiase taking on Bo Dallas. Natalya taking on Charlotte Flair in a non-title match. Bret Hart taking on Bray Wyatt. Jey Uso challenging Jimmy Uso for that Intercontinental title. He wants it back. And a triple threat match. A triple threat TLC match for the world title. Eddie Guerrero, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes. That will be a good one. We're not going to watch it. We're going to simulate it, though. Let's see what happens. All right. Randy Orton beat Andrade. Carmella beat Tamina. Humberto beat Jake Roberts. Ted DiBiase beat Bo Dallas. Charlotte Flair beat Natalya. Bray Wyatt beat Bret Hart. Jimmy Uso retains his title. And Cody Rhodes retains his title as well. That's interesting. All right. Let's move on. All right. Now we're at the Royal Rumble. We got Roman Reigns taking on Cody Rhodes for the world title. Natalya taking on Charlotte for the women's title. Tamina taking on Carmella. Jake Roberts taking on Andrade. Ted DiBiase taking on Dustin Rhodes. Jey Uso is challenging Jimmy Uso again. Randy Orton's taking on The Rock. Eddie Guerrero's taking on Bret Hart. And of course we have the men's 10-man Royal Rumble. So let's see what happens. So it looks like Cody Rhodes has retained his world title. And Charlotte Flair retained her title. Carmella beat Tamina. Jake Roberts beat Andrade. Ted DiBiase beat Dustin Rhodes. Jimmy Uso retains that Intercontinental title. Randy Orton beat The Rock. Eddie Guerrero beat Bret Hart. And we have to go down to the news to see who won the Royal Rumble. And Bret Hart has won the Royal Rumble, so he's going to WrestleMania. That's awesome. All right, up next, we got the Elimination Chamber. We got Randy Orton taking on Andrade, Ted DiBiase taking on Humberto, Bo Dallas against Curtis Axel, The Rock taking on Dustin Rhodes. We got a 6-man Elimination Chamber match. Not for any title, though, just a regular Elimination Chamber match. With Roman Reigns, Eddie, Jay, Cody, Jake, and Jimmy. Bray Wyatt taking on Bret Hart. And we got a 6-man Elimination Chamber match for the women's title. And for some reason, Trish Stratus and Bayley are in there because I don't have enough women to have an Elimination Chamber match. So let's hope that neither Trish Stratus nor Bayley win that women's championship. Randy Orton beat Andrade. Ted DiBiase beat Humberto. Curtis Axel beat Bo Dallas. Dustin Rhodes beat The Rock. Cody Rhodes won that Elimination Chamber match, not for the title or anything. Bray Wyatt beat Bret Hart. And it looks like Natalya is the new women's champion, so that's good. At least someone who's in my league actually won the women's title. So that's awesome. We got a new women's champion. Alright, moving on to Fastlane. We got Charlotte Flair taking on Trish Stratus for some reason. Why is she there? Ted DiBiase taking on Humberto. Carmella challenging Natalya for the women's title. Paige taking on Tamina. Randy Orton is challenging Cody Rhodes for the world title. Andrade is challenging Jimmy Uso for the Intercontinental title. He wants that title back. Bray Wyatt's taking on Bret Hart. Eddie Guerrero's taking on Jake Roberts. Jey Uso's taking on Roman Reigns in a rivalry match. And The Rock is taking on Dustin Rhodes in the main event. Okay. Charlotte Flair beat Trish Stratus. Ted DiBiase beat Humberto. Natalya retained her title. Paige beat Tamina. And Randy Orton is our new World Heavyweight Champion. So Randy Orton is going to be taking on Bret Hart at WrestleMania. That's awesome. Jimmy Uso retains his title against Andrade. That's good. Bret Hart beat Bray Wyatt. Jake Roberts beat Eddie Guerrero. Roman Reigns beat Jey Uso. And The Rock beat Dustin Rhodes. Alright, and this is our last show of the night. WrestleMania, the granddaddy of them all. We're going to have Jake Roberts challenging Jimmy Uso for the Intercontinental title. Natalya taking on Tamina in a non-title match for some reason. Humberto's taking on Bo Dallas. Eddie Guerrero's taking on Bray Wyatt. Andrade's taking on Ted DiBiase. The Rock is taking on Dustin Rhodes. And Bret Hart challenging Randy Orton for that World Heavyweight title. Why is that not the main event? Jey Uso's taking on Roman Reigns again. Oh, and the main event is the triple threat match between Paige, Charlotte, and Carmella. So let's see what happens. Jimmy Uso beat Jake Roberts. So Jake Roberts couldn't take the Intercontinental title. And I just realized in that triple threat match that Natalya didn't have the title. Natalya must have lost the title on a show somewhere down the line. Unless I wasn't paying attention. Natalya beat Tamina. Bo Dallas beat Humberto. Bray Wyatt beat Eddie Guerrero. Andrade beat Ted DiBiase. The Rock beat Dustin Rhodes. And Bret Hart could not take that world title from Randy Orton. Randy Orton is ending things as the World Heavyweight Champion. Jey Uso beats Roman Reigns, and Paige is the new Women's Champion. That is awesome. This was a lot of fun. Let me know in the comments what you think a good idea would be for a universe in WWE 2K20. There's a multitude of things I could do, and I love going through simulations in this game. It's really fun. So just let me know. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and until next time, peace.